I don't get it.
Well, remember our conversation when we were talking to it wasn't Gage, but I forgot who we were talking to. They said that they're actually looking at less games because you don't want your prospects getting hurt.
They want more practice.
Yeah.
They want more recovery time. So they want I think it all comes down to like fitness science. They want their players who are all. The thing about the AHL nowadays is most of these guys under contract are millionaires already. It's like baseball.
Yeah, it's not...
So they're trying to protect these investments. So they want game, then recovery, then practice, recovery,
part of the reason why you don't...
Six games in a season is not going to take care of that. If you're going to reduce that, you're going to have to reduce it by half. 6 games is not going to make a difference.
I think it will.
Over the course, not even a chance.
But over the course of 6 months.
Well,
over the course of 6 months, that's only one game a month.
Again.
Think about that. So you just played 3 games in 1 week.
Right.
You just eliminated 1, so you played 2 games in a week. That's still a lot.
Plus
that's
travel
a lot
time
of hockey.
too.
I mean, coming from a person yourself that's played hockey, you know after a hockey game you got jello legs.
Right.
You know you can't get over the board anymore. Imagine playing 3 days later, the same hardness, the same way.
Right.
I mean,
and that's what for years.
That's just one game though. Now imagine the following week you got 3 games again.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. For years in the AHL,
6 games is not gonna make a difference.
I think, but the thing is, like you're saying, they might be planning on even further reducing it.
I don't think they could go.
I mean, I don't
lower
think
than
they. I'm
66.
surprised
That's
they can
crazy.
even do that.
If you further
But
reduce it,
here's what makes it crazy is because just 4 years ago they were playing 80 games.
Yeah.
So to go from 80 to 6, that's a drastic amount. And as a fan, for the fans of the AHL and Rochester, et cetera, that's a lot less games. You're going from 40 games at the Blue Cross Arena. Now we're down to 37.
How many people are
now you're going to be down to 31.
How many people go to a Blue Cross Arena game? How many
for an Amerks game?
Yeah.
Anywhere between 4,000 and 8,000.
So we'll go with like 5
6,
to 6
6 is about
6,000 people.
I'd say 6.
So now you got to imagine though, if you're subtracting 12 games, now 6 of them are home games. That's a lot of money.
That's hurting
It's
money.
a lot of revenue.
Yeah.
But the thing is they're doing it. Another reason they want to do it is for revenue because the teams in the AHL have trouble drawing fans on weeknights. Most of the teams.
Okay, that
Some
makes sense.
teams have no problems.
Sense.
Grand Rapids, Texas do not have problems drawing on weeknights. Pretty much every other team has a major problem drawing on weeknights. So that's why for years they've been playing pretty much most games on weekends. Right. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's where you get the 3 and 3 nights. So you play, like you're saying, it's crazy, but they would play 3 games in a row and then rest a couple days, practice, and then play maybe 3 games in a row in the next weekend. For years, that's how the AHL was. You play Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's been changing recently that they're trying to spread the schedule out more. That's, I think, why they're going to reduce it again. I hope they don't reduce to 66.
Listen, then don't reduce it. Just start a little earlier.
That's another thing they did.
Or
They've already the season is now, I think, 3 weeks longer than it was.
Yeah, but doesn't the AHL
8 years ago when they had 80 games?
The AHL ends before the NHL, right?
No, now it ends after because
they
extended it a little bit because the whole thing is they're trying to.
Yeah, the last 2-3 years in the
time.
AHL has been very interesting, with a lot of the rule changes.
Oh yeah,
man,
I mean this overtime thing in the shoot is great. I mean, I was listening to this game last night on the radio while I was driving back. It was exciting. The Amerks outshot Oklahoma City 9 shots on goal in an overtime period for the Amerks. They couldn't score. Really exciting. They play 4-4 for the first 3 minutes. Next whistle, it goes to 3-on-3. This overtime thing is great.
It's only a 10-minute overtime, though, right?
It's a 7-minute overtime.
That's
starts
a lot of
4-4.
That's a shot a minute.
Absolutely. It starts 4-4. First whistle after 4 minutes. It goes to. Oh yeah, and Don Stevens, the Amerks announcer, he described how after the overtime period they switched ends for the shootout, and Andrei Makarov and the Oklahoma City goalie slapped each other up on the way to their respective goals because he was saying. Although it was a 7-7 game, they played amazingly because there were so many shots. I think the shots ended up being 48-41 for Oklahoma City.
It's a lot of shots.
Just a great game. Just an absolute great game. The other news to come out of the AHL is we've been talking about this as well. The league is moving west. So this is what we have for sure. Oklahoma City is gone. They are moving to Bakersfield, California. The LA Kings are moving out of Manchester, New Hampshire, to Ontario, California. The Anaheim Ducks will be buying the Norfolk, the Norfolk Admirals and moving them most likely to San Diego. So right now we have Bakersfield, Ontario, San Diego. Worcester.
Bakersfield and San Diego already have teams, though. You have the Bakersfield
Condors
and the San Diego Gulls.
Right.
What's going on with them?
They're going to be elevated to the AHL.
Okay.
They're not going to have an ECHL.
So they're not going to actually remove those franchises.
No, you just got to buy the rights to them.
Yeah,
Exactly,
buy the rights to them.
And then what may happen is that the AHL cities that lose their team,
they get to retain,
might get an ECHL team.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe Manchester and Worcester get ECHL teams. It'd be nice because those are two old hockey cities.
Yeah, a Manchester in the ECHL sounds right. Manchester seems right in the ECHL.
You know what? It's gonna be weird without Worcester.
It will be weird without the Worcester
been,
Sharks.
Remember the Worcester Ice Cats?
I remember the Worcester. That logo was one of the most ridiculous logos ever.
So the Worcester's gone. They're going to be moving to either Sacramento, Fresno, Long Beach, or maybe having a second team at the SAP Center in San Jose.
LA has too many teams.
LA
has too many teams.
They're going to have a lot of teams in that area now.
Oh, yeah.
2 NHL teams. Ontario's right near LA.
Yeah.
Bakersfield is not. It's kind of in the middle of San Francisco and LA. I remember I went through Bakersfield.
Did you like
this
it?
Summer. I stopped at I pulled off the highway. I stopped at a Mexican restaurant. I was like, oh, California's got good Mexican food. It was like a fast food Mexican restaurant. It was awful.
Was it?
It was terrible.
Well, of course, it was a fast food one. You got to go to one of those homemade ones.
I was pulling off the highway, literally the next stop to go to the bathroom.
Were people speaking English in it?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's bilingual down there.
Well, I mean, if you go to ones where, it's everything
you got to go to the ones that barely speak
where
English.
There's no English whatsoever. It's all Spanish.
Yeah, I know. Those are the best ones.
You didn't find any like that when you're there?
No, I didn't look.
Yeah, you got to find the home ones, like the family-owned and operated.
There's even some great Mexican restaurants in Rochester.
Listen, we went to when we played in Chicago. Now the Chicago team's pretty much all Mexicans,
right?
And they cooked us a Mexican dinner afterwards. So
really?
It was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some Mexican chicken. And
wow.
Rice and all that other good stuff. It was pretty incredible.
I love their food.
Yeah,
rice, beans.
Oh yeah.
Chicken. So the chicken was Mexican, of Mexican descent?
Yeah.
How'd you know?
Well,
did you see his passport?
Check his birth certificate.
I had a chicken leg, and it had a tattoo of the
You have a chicken leg?
Yeah.
So in Mexico.
Listen, at least both my legs walk normal.
Oh, well, I'm getting there. Let's see. Also, Calgary is moving out of Adirondack. We knew that.
Yeah.
And they're going to Stockton. Okay, so that's another California team.
Seems like it's all
now all these teams that are moving, like I'm not too familiar with
yes.
I'm a hockey fan, but are they moving out of places that get a good crowd?
They're moving out of some good
are they going to have to work? Because I know there's a couple that
they're moving out of
Manchester
good
gets good crowds.
Manchester's one
Norfolk
of the best strong
gets good
teams.
crowds.
Yeah. All these teams, all these
really
are good hockey
But right,
cities.
so where they're moving to, do we know if that's going to have a good crowd already? I mean,
yes, that's
probably.
the thing. Is all Stockton, Bakersfield, and Ontario are three of the best strong cities in the ECHL.
Okay,
Sacramento is a good sports city.
Yeah,
and they're going if they put a team there.
Yeah, Sacramento would be great.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like they're probably gonna gain.
This is gonna be a huge hit, and I think it's very
long overdue, really.
Very beneficial for the AHL. Now, what I think will be interesting is right now the way the schedule works is Rochester only plays half of the league. It's been like this for years, and it's kind of a travesty because in the NHL you get to see every team come into your building and you get to go to every building.
Absolutely.
The AHL, it's not like that. They try to save on travel costs.
20 games against Hamilton.
Yeah, we play Hamilton 12 times, Adirondack 12 times, Syracuse 10 times, Binghamton 8 times.
Yeah.
It's the same teams.
You got 70.
It's just like the MASL. You guys play 6 out of 20 games, 30% of your games against Syracuse.
Yeah,
it's the same kind of deal trying to save on travel.
I think it's 3 against or 6 against Syracuse, 3 against Detroit, and then 3 against Harrisburg.
Right,
or something like that.
And that's most. That's
whole
most
season,
schedule
and then
right
2 or 3 against Baltimore.
Right. That's most of the season. So I hope when they do this that Rochester will get to take a road trip out to California. Because I think that'd be interesting. And we'll get to see the California teams.
I think you get a lot more fans too if you got other teams who come. Like you said, they just traveled to play the first place team.
Oklahoma, right?
You get teams like that coming in. People are going to want to see it. I mean, not only are
it's interesting.
Yeah,
it is. It's more interesting than seeing Hamilton again.
Yeah.
Or Adirondack.
And honestly, that kind of for me takes away from it. Like I want to see the Portland Pirates and the Whiskers.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to see Oklahoma City.
I'd love to see St. John's.
Yeah,
we've never seen.
Well, it's just like you guys. You guys come to our soccer games. I mean, don't you want to see San Diego?
Yeah,
play?
yes. I want to see Vegas,
Turlock.
I want to see Monterey.
I want to see.
I want to see you guys go to Monterey and watch that on
right.
Go Live.
But that's what I'm saying. You want to. But them, they got 70 games. I mean, you think
they
at least 2 games. Or, 1 game.
Right.
Switch games once or whatever.
Now, here's my other point: is now if they're trying to reduce the schedule and spread the schedule out so there's more recovery time between games and practices, why not spend the extra money if you're the Buffalo Sabres who own the Amerks and fly the Amerks from San Antonio to Oklahoma City when they have to play the next day. They played a 7 o'clock game in San Antonio. They had to play at 4 p.m. the next day. So they took a 14-hour bus ride overnight. They got into Oklahoma City at 6:15 in the morning. I mean, how do you even sleep?
Where was their first game?
San Antonio. Saturday night they were in San Antonio.
Oh wait, so did they fly to San Antonio?
They flew to their first game was last Wednesday in Arlington, Texas.
So they flew there, right?
They flew to Texas. Yeah.
So it's not like
like their
own team buses
right.
out there.
No, but they bus from San Antonio.
That's ridiculous.
Why not just fly?
Yeah,
I don't get it. If you're worried about your players' health, there's nothing worse than all your muscles tightening up after a game on a 14-hour bus ride. Right? I'm sure you guys have experienced that, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, riding on a bus overnight in between games, you got to tighten up.
It does get pretty tough, actually this year we went to Milwaukee and we had vans. So, you're kind of cramped in there. You got to, we played Milwaukee and then we had to drive for 2.5 hours to Chicago. Kind of stinks, you know what I mean? Then after the Chicago game, we drove straight home.
Right.
So these guys are in,
That's a long ride.
Yeah, these guys are in vans for 14 hours just after a game, I mean, you can't stretch your legs, so we had to stop every few hours, get out, walk around. I mean,
did you at least have professional drivers, or was Cicluna driving?
No, we drove ourselves. I drove one, Doug Miller drove one, and then
Miller also drove.
Miller played and drove straight through.
Again, it's not just. I was making fun of Detroit. It's not just Detroit. It's you guys who are playing in a big Blue Cross arena. The coach is driving the bus.
Well, that's this year,
and the goalie is driving the bus.
Yeah, well, that's this year. I mean, last year, we had our.
But it probably got expensive, though.
Well, we had our big bus. Yeah, it got expensive. But, because we folded and then we came back, we lost some of our sponsors. Hopefully we'll get all those back and we can go back to driving in buses. But right now, we got to do what's right for the team and, and save our money when we can. And I guess driving on a van for 14 hours.
All right, we're going to have Stephen Basso coming up in just a minute here. Got to tell you guys about my favorite place in the world. That is the Mirage, 414 Westridge Road. Mark, you got to come visit sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there before. It's a great place.
They are open every day of the week. Fridays they're open early, 4 o'clock. Get out of work, have an ice cold beer, watch some hot ladies. They have the hottest girls in Rochester.
What's the best day
by
to go?
far? I would say the best day to go would be a Friday night or Saturday night.
I would say
that's when it's gonna be most.
I would say the best day is any day that ends with day.
Any day that ends with a Y, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, actually, weeknights are better.
Friday night's probably the best.
Weeknights
night, right?
are good too because it's a little less crowded and the ratio of girls to you is a lot better. Like
better odds. Getting the girl you want.
Right. You might have like a Sunday. It might be 7 girls, but only 20 customers. Friday night it's gonna be like 14 girls and like 300 customers, you know what I mean?
So the odds are more ever in your favor.
Yeah, but when you're good looking like me, man, the girls come right over.
It doesn't even matter.
It doesn't even matter.
Really doesn't
You
matter.
can even be as good looking as you, and apparently it doesn't matter because there's so many people.
That's right.
Man.
I stick out in a crowd, buddy. They're like, hey, look, there's the old guy right
He
there.
must be he's handsome.
Anyways.
Just be like, professional athlete.
One of our favorite sponsors, that is the Mirage, 414 West Ridge Road. Go visit them. We are awaiting Stephen Basso, defender extraordinaire for the Rochester
One half
Lancers.
of the Bash Brothers. One half
Who's
of the
the
Bash
other
Brothers.
half?
The other half is now Jake Schindler.
Was it Jake Schindler?
Yep.
Do you guys have nicknames for each other?
A lot of guys have nicknames. Sam gave everybody that kind of nicknames when they come out. So he's one half of the Bash Brothers. The Capinos twins are Los Dos Capinos and stuff like that. Schindler is Earthquake Jake.
Earthquake Jake.
Stephen Basso.
Yes, this is him.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us tonight. We've been talking a little bit of everything tonight, but definitely some Lancers soccer. You guys had a tough one Friday night in Syracuse, up 11-2, 11-5 at the half, and then just couldn't get another goal. Fell 12-11. What happened in Syracuse?
A couple different things happened. I mean, we came out flying, just like we did the week before, and just a little bit of a mental lapse, I guess. The same thing that happened the week before, and it's devastating. Those are 2 crucial games, especially this past weekend. We could have gone with 2 wins, against Detroit. That was a good game for us. We didn't give up the lead.